Hello everyone and welcome to the On Your Head Son podcast. Today is a big day for two reasons. First of all, it's a big welcome to one of our own. Welcome to Claudio Martiinoli.
Hello everybody. Nice to be here. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm sure it is. How excited are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, I'd say I'm 11.
Wow.
I am pumped for this.
Can you wait?
I cannot wait. I'm enjoying every minute of listening to you guys each week and it's an honour to be here. So yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into some good old fashioned football chat.
Excellent. We love that. And as it is a Southampton fan joining us today, I think we'll have a Southampton special, shall we?
Southampton special.
Love
Yes. What a nice.
God's sake.
For those of you watching on video, we've got a nice array of kits, and we have a guest appearance from a certain Jose Fonte as well.
There we go. Club captain.
King.
Absolute king. Hello, Matt. How are you?
Hello, yeah, very good, thank you. Good to be back.
Yeah?
Good to be back here, yeah.
Did you have a nice birthday over the weekend?
I did, yeah. Yeah, big 29. 29? So yeah.
Very good.
Classic new girl reference there. But yeah, no, so yeah, for all the new girl fans. Yeah, that's about it.
There are a lot of them.
Gosh.
Perfect. Well, I think let's get stuck into some Southampton chat before we go on to the Premier League, because the Premier League was quite dull this week. To be honest with you.
Dull weekend.
Dull weekend.
Dull weekend.
But let's get stuck in with our Southampton five-a-side teams.
All time.
Okay.
I spoke to Claudio about this yesterday. He's been changing his mind throughout the day.
I have. I'm on my fifth draft.
You're on your fifth draft.
Fifth draft.
Okay. Well, would you like to go first? Would you like to,
I'll
to,
go
to
first.
read them out?
Absolutely, I'll go first, yeah, for sure.
Who have we got?
Southampton have never been blessed with the greatest of goalkeepers in the Premier League era, I'd say, compared to other teams. So this was a bit tricky to pick the best, but I picked someone who has played for the club for a long time and was part of the whole massive trajectory forwards when we had our double promotion. That's Kelvin Davis.
Okay.
He was brilliant at the low leagues. Watched him a lot during those years, and then he came into his own even in the Premier League as well, I thought. And although he wasn't there for a huge amount of time in the Premier League when we came back up, he was an influential person in the dressing room, I thought. And I just thought good shot stopper, old head. I just like him. I think
He even managed us once.
he did. You're right.
We were there
Yes.
at the Wembley Stadium when Tottenham were playing there.
You're right. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's my goalkeeper.
Perfect.
Near post. Really good. Really good at coming with near post. Really good at coming with That's the one.
That's his forte.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It was his number one stat. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, he was my best.
Okay. Should we go through? Should we do it differently this time? Should we go for a goalkeeper each?
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go. Do you want to go next?
I'll go next. Probably the first one I actually remember kind of going to a game, and well, actually maybe the second. When we go to a first game, it was Southampton versus Birmingham. It was a 0-0 game in about 2001,
Excellent.
and unbelievable. So I think the goalkeeper that day was Antti Niemi, and I think he's someone always looked up to. He was a brilliant goalkeeper. It was the white slick hair. It was all very good, and then. Yeah, he went on to have a brilliant career, and yeah.
And he's not finished. He's only 28.
He didn't play for Scotland. He didn't play for Scotland though. He didn't play
For those, I don't know if have you heard that video?
I've not heard this.
Okay, so this is a talk sport video in Scotland when Anthony moved to Hearts. He played for Hearts, and there's a call in, and they're like, "Why isn't Anthony Amy playing in the Scottish team?" And the guy said, well, "He's finished." And then the group retort, "He's not finished. He's only 28."
Yes.
Which is perfect. I love that.
Exactly.
Love that.
And that's what makes him as well. What a man.
That is what
What
makes
a man.
him.
What a man.
That was going to be mine, so I'm going to have to think of someone else instead. I think, again, similar to you, I don't think we've been blessed with great goalkeepers throughout our time. I think for the brief cameo in which he was superb, in which we were like, no one could score goals against us, Fraser Forster.
Paul Jones.
I did think about Paul Jones, and I quickly thought no. No, I think for one season in particular, there's one game against Arsenal I can think of where no one get past him, and I'm remembering Fraser Forster for that. And the goalkeepers we've had since him have been far worse.
Yeah, they have. It's true.
So Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Fraser Forster.
Yeah, fair play.
Fair.
He was just massive, wasn't he? Look at him in the goal. I remember going to watch him week in, week out, going, no one's going to get this ball past him. He just takes up so much of the actual goal.
Yeah.
And look at Bazunu as the opposite. He's tiny. Absolutely tiny. There's so much of the goal to aim for.
Yeah.
So yeah, fair enough.
Our dad once saw Fraser Forster in Waitrose.
Yeah, Winchester.
And Fraser Forster dropped his keys, and then Dad made some sort of like
Dad.
goalkeeper comment or something, and Fraser just looked completely clueless.
Yeah, he went. It's like an oath.
He does look like a farmer, doesn't he? Like just carries hay across his fields. It's just a big, huge hand.
You'd be very good at that.
Yeah,
He would be very good at
He
that.
was good at putting up his socks as well.
Very, very good at that.
Fantastic at
I
that.
forgot he did that.
That was his number one stat.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Fair play.
Perfect. Right, Claudio, who's next in the team?
Okay, so in defence, over the years we've had some alright defenders, I'd say. Certainly in more recent time we've had some pretty good defenders. But I went for a bit of a cult hero who I enjoyed watching play just before we got relegated. For about 3 or 4 years before that was Michael Svensson. Brilliant in the air.
FA Cup final.
Just a brilliant. He was just an absolute warrior, and I just thought he was easily our best defender at that time. We were playing just before we got relegated, like 2001, 2002 time. Then he had a horrible injury, and it wrecked his career sadly. And then he never ever kind of played again. Really, it came back for a little bit, but never happened. But just before that injury, he was just brilliant.
Yeah,
he was just everywhere.
I do remember him.
He was class.
Alongside Captain Klaus.
Calamity
Captain
Klaus.
Yeah.
And he was like the sure-footed, like stable man next to Klaus Lindemann.
He's still touring around Southampton clubs, I think. He's still touring around Southampton clubs. Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, strange man.
Great shout.
Something a bit different.
Yeah, absolutely.
You go.
Yeah, I'll go. I'm gonna say, in my mind, the obvious one. Because I actually think he's probably the best player I've ever seen live. I really do. I think Virgil van Dijk, when he was at Southampton, was unbelievable. And for his first few seasons at Liverpool, he was unbelievable. Now he's still a very, very good centre-back. But for a short time, I think he was the best centre-back in the world by far.
And I actually think he was possibly the best centre-back when he was at Southampton as well.
I think
he was up there. Like that 70 million move.
I judge players when I see them is, when you see someone that looks like they have so much time on the ball, and he just looked, they had hours to play with.
During the games where we were like 1-1 or 2-1 or whatever, and he'd go up in the last minute, and he was our best striker by a mile.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
was like you say, the amount of he just seemed to like float across the pitch. So when the ball was nowhere near him, and then boom, he was just right near the action, putting a block in, or he just seemed to cover so much grass without really trying. It's amazing, and he's still doing it now. To be fair, like he's still so composed. He never seems to get flustered. Like some centre halves or defenders do in general. He just seems so calm. I mean, it's great that he came through. We were a brilliant team when he was in that spine of the team, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's obviously the glory years. They were, but yeah.
They were glorious. Who are you going to go with?
I mean, I want to go for my main man up there because that's obviously but
is that a but? It's not.
It's not going to go. I'm going to go for someone who's just there for one season.
Okay.
And it's the year before Van Dijk came, and it's Toby Alderweireld. I thought he was unbelievable when he was there.
He was,
and he genuinely, for me, you say Van Dijk's the best player. You say Knive for Southampton. I genuinely think Toby Alderweireld was. On the ball, he was unbelievable, coming out with it, spraying passes wherever he wanted. I know Van Dijk did very similar. But honestly, I thought it was such a steal how we got him. I think it was from Atletico, we got him on loan.
Yeah, we did.
And it was he just shouldn't have been at Southampton. He was similar to Van Dijk, but he'd already proved it at Atletico and then came a little bit down to Southampton. And he absolutely bossed it, and him and Fonte at the back. I feel sorry for Fonte, because Fonte was there for 7 years, 8 years, or whatever he was, and he's an absolute club legend. But he played across. He played with Toby Alderweireld and then with Van Dijk, and he almost played second fiddle to me. And I think, I'm going to go with him, which, a little bit of a left field.
Who is to say that Fontaine still doesn't make it? You could go.
Well, I know
I was genuinely quite gutted when I think there was the tease that when he was looking for a new club. I remember going, oh yeah, Spurs are coming in for him. I was like, yeah, but he seems to love us. He thinks we're great. He thinks he loves us. He's bought into the whole model of Southampton and where we're going. And then when Spurs came in, they did, and they were successful. I was genuinely very gutted.
No, I remember.
He was a great player.
But then we signed Van Dijk, and you forget about him.
True
enough.
True enough.
So different.
Very good. Well, those are our defenders, I think. Claudio, you are up next. You may have picked another defender.
I haven't. I've
No?
gone for a midfielder. We're talking about players that we witnessed live being the best we've ever seen, and this guy played in centre mid, holding midfield, and very underrated. He left us and never really materialised, never managed to do anything as good as he did at Southampton. But still to this day, one of the most cultured footballers I've ever watched is Morgan Schneider.
Very good.
He, again, 19 years old, scouted, he came up from League One, no one knew who he was, played brilliant in League One, played brilliant in the season we went up again in the Championship, and then just looked completely composed and at ease in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He just didn't look, for someone of still quite a young age, he looked completely composed. And I just remember at one point there was a stat, I think it was in our first season in the Prem, we were playing exciting attacking football.
Yeah.
We were losing a lot of games by like 1 goal, 4-3 and whatnot, but we were playing exciting football.
Yeah.
Which was great. So they focused on all the players that were scoring goals, like Lambert and players like that and whatnot, but the number of interceptions he had at one point in the season was almost double anybody else. It was just one of the, a bit like a João Paulinho at the moment for Fulham. One of those players who just gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't score many goals. But I just loved him. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And it was, again, when he left, I thought, right, he's going to do a Van Dijk, he's going to do an Alderweireld, he's going to go and do other stuff. Went to Man U, and
flopped.
it just complete flop. And even
Everton.
Everton, he didn't do anything either. It's like, Southampton is one of those clubs where it's like big fish, small pond, or, moving
sometimes players just suit
a system.
A system,
It was for high pressing as well.
Yeah.
It really suits him. And then he went to Man U where you don't press at all, and then it's just. Then at Everton they don't press at all as well, really. So I think it just didn't quite suit him there. But for again those 4 or 5 years, he was unbelievable.
Brilliant.
And every time he didn't play, you could see there was
100%
massive hole,
massive
hole.
Yeah.
And he's not an imposing figure.
He's skinny as hell.
Slim. He's a slim athlete.
Yeah.
You don't think much of him. He's
more
tall.
like a runner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you think, he won't get around the pitch, but he just got everywhere.
No, I agree.
I thought it was class.
I agree.
Great shout. Right, Matt,
I'm struggling here.
I don't know what formation to play.
No, exactly.
I don't know what to do with centre mid, actually. I'm a bit torn.
I'm going to go for Flair now.
Okay.
I'm going to go Flair early. I'm going to get the first shirt I ever bought. Anders Svensson, number 12.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable, I think, for like 2-3 years. But it was during my FA Cup run, I remember when we got to the final, he was so good.
Yeah.
He was playing unbelievable then, and he played till he was 40
Mate,
in Sweden.
I know.
Crazy.
Still
At
playing
the
for
Euros.
Sweden.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think he was in the World Cup 2018 or 2016.
He had about 130 caps.
Yeah, exactly. And he's
Amazing.
he's captain Ibrahimovic like when he was there. So I loved Anders Svensson growing up. He's played on the left, his right foot, he was cutting in, scored some absolute beauty. So
Very good.
I'm going Anders.
Seeing as you've gone with a centre midfielder, I'm gonna match you as well.
Yeah.
And I've just realised that my team is going to be absolutely massive. So I've got Fraser Forster in goal, Virgil van Dijk, and then Victor Wanyama.
That was the
in the
obvious
middle.
one. That's
Victor Wanyama. There's a Kenyan, a mighty Kenyan, the Victor Wanyama. Oh, how good was he?
Yeah.
How good. Similar era to Morgan Schneiderlin.
Yeah.
He carried us for a lot of games. An absolute powerhouse. Then went to Spurs and had a few good seasons.
Yeah.
But some cracking goals.
Under Poch. He was very good.
But
He scored a ridiculous goal at Anfield, I remember.
Yeah.
Against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Ridiculous goal.
Amazing.
I
I just remember the absolute powerhouse. Yeah, just love watching him play. This team is going to bully everyone else.
Oh my God.
I know. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous now. Anders Svensson's getting bullied by Wanyama and Morgan Schneiderlin.
You're going to have to have some quick players out wide to get the ball to, definitely. Brilliant.
Very good. Right, Claudio.
Okay.
Where are we going?
Right. My next one is probably the most obvious player in my 5, which I think you're all going to want to have in your 5.
Yep.
As a 5-a-side player, probably not the best because he doesn't move very often. But when he gets the ball, he's an absolute magician.
Yeah.
First kind of player at Southampton that I kind of fell in love with, Matt Didier.
There we go.
Le God. What can you say about him? Just a magician with the ball. Seemed to be stuck to his feet. Just Premier League years when I watched that on Sky every so often, you just see that he never scored a bad goal. It was always ridiculous goals. He carried Southampton through the 90s. Every season we were there or thereabouts on the brink of relegation with about 2 games left. and he was always scoring goals that were pivotal or creating goals
Yeah.
and everything. He was just so important to our team in the 90s.
His volleys.
Oh,
I generally think that his goal compilations are probably better than anyone else in the Premier League
I agree.
ever.
Well, it's funny you mention that. So my wife's dad is a Spurs fan, but he's a
Yeah.
massive football fan in general.
Yeah.
And the first time I met him,
Mm.
he talked to me about his favourite video, and I was like, "Where's this conversation
Mhm.
going?" His favourite video is Matt Letizier's greatest goals.
They are superb.
That's his favourite. He's like, "I've got to tell you about my
Yeah.
favourite video." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay," and he
Yeah.
just went, "Matt Letizier's greatest goals," and I was
I
like,
think that's
"Good shout, to be fair."
I think we've got a shout for a quick interjection now. What's your favourite ever Matt Letizia goal?
Ooh.
I've got one off the top of my head I can think of already.
Go for it.
It's against Blackburn.
Yeah.
And the way that he takes three
Oh,
touches
it's,
in the middle of the pitch, and then it's about 40 yards.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm actually doing the hand movement here.
Yeah.
He just pings it, curls it, top corner.
Yeah.
And they must, I don't actually know what the score was this game, they must have been losing or drawing, because he just sort of like walks off really nonchalantly afterwards. It's a really bizarre video to watch.
I think that was the time when he
Yeah.
wasn't playing and came on. Like literally
Yeah.
at the start, and he was just like, whenever I'm going to get it, I'm just going to smack it.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's how he played. But like when he just looked at the bench so aggressively, like I think it was Souness, maybe it was the manager, who was just like staring, just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was great. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was a shame he never got much time at England, but you knew quite quickly why, because he just didn't do much running. But
Yeah.
he knew what his attributes were, and he knew
Yeah.
what his flaws were. But it was just for a club of our size, I think he's just the perfect player to have. Like,
Agreed.
just everyone loved him. He was so important, and we all love the fact that he stayed with us for his whole career,
Yeah.
which is a really nice thing, which just doesn't happen much in football anymore.
Mhm.
It's
And he
another
finished on
huge
exactly 100 Premier League goals.
He did,
which is
correct,
brilliant.
correct.
Like, I love that.
thing. Correct,
Yeah.
and that was going to be the goal
Yeah.
I was going to talk about, which
Yeah,
is
so-
the last,
yeah, so- yeah, so-
the last ever goal
Yeah.
in the Dell.
Yeah.
He scored. It
I
wasn't,
love
it wasn't,
that.
it wasn't
Yeah.
even a particularly, for his standards, a particularly great goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I remember him saying about how the ball came across the box and he screamed so loudly. I can't remember who it was in front of him. He said, "Leave it," and then he just absolutely leathered it right in the middle of the goal, but right just underneath the crossbar.
Love that.
Against Arsenal, last game at the Dell. What a perfect story for him to
Yeah.
score the last goal.
No, I absolutely love that.
Absolutely
love that.
Yeah.
What favourite goal, Matt?
Favourite goal, I think, I can't remember who it was against. I think it might have been against Man U when we played them at the Dell one time. But it's one where he kind of chests it down, flicks it over one person, then flicks it over someone else.
Newcastle.
It's
Yeah,
Newcastle, and
Newcastle.
volleys it bottom corner.
Yeah.
It's
just
so easy.
I mean, but there's also the free kick
Yeah.
goals where someone just passes it back and
Mm.
he just flicks it up and he did
Oh.
2 or 3 of them.
I think against Newcastle as well. I think
Yeah,
that was
was
two of those goals were in the same game.
Brilliant.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But imagine that now, like those
How
kind
much
of
it
goals.
would have been talked
They were
about.
considering social media and
Yeah.
all the kind of things that we have access to now. Like the goals that he scored were like so ahead of their time.
Yeah.
He was just a magician, just brilliant. Absolutely loved him.
Really was.
So I apologise for.
Yeah,
for
No,
taking
no,
it.
that's fine.
It was the next one. I thought about doing it earlier. I thought about doing it. Just to get
At
in
centre
there.
half,
Yeah.
that is it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I think it's my turn.
Yeah, it
to
is.
go
Yeah,
to you.
yeah. I'm a bit nervous. but
I'm starting to realise that all of my players are in the same era. So this guy's not massive, but I'm going to go with him anyway because I think he's one of the best people I've ever seen in a Saints shirt, and that's Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
that's my-
It was absolutely superb. He
2-minute
is-
hat-trick?
Oh.
Yeah, 2 minutes 15 hat trick. I was
Yeah.
there for that game,
Same, me
6-1
Yeah.
against Aston
Villa.
Villa.
Yeah.
He's a funny player because, well, to begin with at Southampton, he was such a raw talent. He'd lose the ball more than he'd do something good, but when he did something good, it was spectacular. He just tried stuff all the time. It was so exciting to watch. After a while, his decision making got far better, and his end product increased, and that got him the move to Liverpool, and then that took him to heights.
No. What got him the move to Liverpool was his performance against Liverpool. Do you remember that? Where
Oh yeah, we were down 2-0 at half time, and then
Then
came back.
He came
Yeah.
on and then just completely changed that game.
Yeah.
And then Klopp slammed signing you. Lo and
Yeah.
behold, they won the league.
Yeah.
Literally about 2 seasons later. Ridiculous player.
Yeah,
Absolutely
he was.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't have much more to say on that. I think he was superb. I think in a 5-a-side, he'd be amazing as well.
I mean, yeah.
Alongside my 3 tanks.
Sadio Mane's doing a lot of running in that
Yeah,
team. Yeah, fair play.
I'm nervous now.
Okay,
I'm really nervous.
Really good.
I think I need a. I don't know where I'm going here. Right.
If you want to think about it,
Tommy
why don't you go
Alderweireld,
straight in with a
Andy
striker?
Svensson. That's what I'm thinking
Why
about.
don't you do that now?
No. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm going James Beattie.
Oh.
I'm going James Beattie.
Ah,
I'm going
good.
James Beattie.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, he was brilliant at his time. But he used to score free kicks as well. He was a brilliant free kick taker.
He was very good.
Yeah, 2002, 2003, around that. Obviously, it was the year we kind of got relegated, but I think he left by then. Or had he? Was he?
We
was
had,
that his
I
last
think
year?
he
he'd already gone. We had Crouch and Kevin Phillips.
and Henri Camara.
And Henri Camara.
Yeah.
He scored a brilliant goal against Pompey.
Yeah.
Who was the other one?
Brett Ormeros.
Brett
Ormeros,
Ormeros,
that's
it,
right.
yeah, because he went to Everton, didn't he, BT? Yeah. So I'm going BT.
Nice.
Yeah, I need someone a bit stronger and someone who's going to put himself about. And obviously, we saw him at the Brighton game, didn't we, last year?
We
just,
did.
We saw him fans. Yeah, just
love it.
Yeah, exactly. Just
He's still a Saints fan.
He goes to quite a few games.
Yeah,
like
when
we
we
saw
him.
Yeah,
when he just stood there in his little sunglasses. Everyone was bothering him, obviously, but he didn't really.
Yeah.
He was really good about it. So I'm going BT.
Fair play. Good player.
Very good. Right, Claudio, looks like your team's probably missing a striker.
He's missing a striker, and you took my last one, James. I was going to go for Sadio Mane. He was going to be my runner in my team.
He was.
I am going to go with. I've got to go with the striker, haven't I? I'm stuck between two now. I will go with Graziano Pelle. Looked good in a Saints shirt.
Looked very good in the Saints.
Yeah.
Sexy man. He was playing when we were playing good football, so there's no denying that he was in a good team.
Yeah.
But he was ridiculous in the box.
Mm.
He was powerful. He didn't just score scrappy goals. He scored some absolutely quality goals.
Overhead kicker to
Oh
QPR.
yeah! Oh my gosh! He just protected the ball so well, and I know he had a lot of support around him, which massively helped his game. But he scored a lot of goals for us in the short time that he was actually at the club. He scored a fair few.
He did. He was
brilliant. And I remember when he went that we looked a completely different team. I know we got torn apart in terms of transfers around the same kind of time, but my gosh, we massively missed his goals after that.
And obviously
That
clap the
was-
fans
I
every
was
time.
about to say that. So
Every
funny.
time someone chanted his name, he clapped the fans and he'd
Brilliant.
sprint down.
Do you know who also used to do that? Maybe a little bit before your time, and it wasn't the Championship. It was Rudy Scatchell.
Yes.
Do you remember
yes,
him?
yeah,
He would come over to
Scatchell.
away fans. I used to go and watch a lot of away games.
Yeah.
2005, when we first got relegated to the Championship, he would just come over and he would start clapping before we'd even started saying anything to him.
Love that.
We hadn't even started
Love
chanting
that.
his name. He was like,
Love
"Yeah,
that.
cheers, guys." Well,
Yeah,
legend.
that's good.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he was a great footballer, playing with us at a good time, scored some really important goals, and he was Italian. And Italians in the Premier League don't tend to do very well, and it was nice for an Italian playing for the team that I support doing quite well. So that's my go.
Very good. It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
I'd say. Have you thought of your?
Oh my god!
I
I need to pivot so
think of a
much.
good player for your team.
I need
but-
to so much.
but I can jump in with my striker if that would help.
No, I think I've got it.
Okay.
I've got it. I'm gonna get Adam Lallana.
That's what I would have gone with.
I need a bit more flair in there. I think whereas you guys have got more power, I'm going a bit more flair. And then Adam Lallana, I was going to go Ali Dia, but obviously
He's
not.
your first sub.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can come on from Atletis. You can come on, but yeah. So Adam Lallana, club captain for about 8 years. Really should have probably left like a couple of years before. I think. Went to Liverpool. I think a little bit too late. I think in his career. But yeah, he was unbelievable. Like just on the ball, his close touch. Like yes, he turned back a lot, which was always a bit frustrating sometimes to watch, but. Not as much as Redmond, so I mean, yeah. But,
I'm surprised he's not actually doing
no.
I can still get the
Still
top.
can,
Still
yeah,
good
play.
player.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Claude Puel for, didn't he? He was like Thierry Henry, but Adam Lallana, brilliant player. Just a bit of flair there as well. So yeah.
It was great for us to watch him progress as a footballer as well.
I think
Because
so,
when I'm sure it was the same for you guys. Starting to watch him play, he looked like a child playing in
Yeah.
an
Yeah,
team.
he did, yeah.
And then by the time he left us, he was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Very
Scored some
complete.
very important goals as well.
Yeah, he did.
Including
Massively.
in the game against Coventry when we got promoted
Yeah,
to the Premier
correct.
League.
He did.
Yeah.
I think it was the first goal. I think
4-0. Yeah,
Not
that's
sure.
right. Great game.
Perfect. Well, you've left one of their
No, I have,
favourite strikers of all time.
Yeah.
The old la la
La,
la
la,
la
la,
la
la,
Ricky Lambert's after the goal machine. I don't think I need to say more than that, really. We signed him in League One from Bristol Rovers. He fired us up through League One, through the Championship, into the Premier League. and was outstanding. I mean, he scored, I don't even know the figures, but I want to say 15 to 20 goals a season for Southampton, I would guess. Got him an England call-up. I have never been so happy in my entire life than the moment he came on for England and scored against Scotland with his first touch. That is the loudest I've ever cheered. I remember I was really, we're at home again. And we were just watching on TV, and I've never stood up and actually like run around the room so much in my entire life. So happy for him, and yeah, then he got his dream move to Liverpool. Like, who can bemoan that?
No,
What
his homecoming.
What a player
he was. He was amazing.
Southampton's goal machine.
Really was. Are we going to do a manager?
Oh,
Sure.
Okay,
Sure, yeah. Out of left field. Just,
Absolutely.
I'm just thinking that we've got a few.
We do have.
We had a few shockers. We've
had
had a few shockers.
Yeah.
The brothers popped to mind as the first one. I can't remember their names, but two Dutch guys.
Oh, they were in the Championship, weren't they?
Yeah, Championship.
I think Pellegrino was one of the first all the time.
Yeah, but no.
Okay, do you want to start, Matt? Seeing as you suggested.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm gonna go Koeman. I know that someone's probably gonna take one who was probably a better manager, who's obviously still going, still going in the Premier League. But Koeman, that team just symbolised absolutely everything I love about football. It was all quick, direct football. Just the pressing wasn't perfect, but it was just proper passion and just everyone. And the whole team just symbolised kind of like, I think how he wanted to play. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, I'm going Koeman. Yeah, and I think in a five-a-side, that's what you need.
I think that he was there when we were our most successful as well.
Well, we were in Europe.
We
had a run in Europe with him. So.
Yeah.
Did he go to AC Milan?
Did I?
Inter
Milan.
Sorry.
Even better for me, yeah. The two teams I support playing each other in a competitive game. I was like, I was pinching myself when that draw came out. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was amazing. We lost that game.
Yeah, I did.
Van Dijk missed a header he should have scored.
Yes, surrender. Yeah.
And I couldn't believe we lost that game because we absolutely murdered Inter. But he was a great manager, no question. And funnily enough, he's Dutch national team manager now. But
Yes.
We thought fine, he's moving on, he's left, he's done this, he's done that, same as other people and players and whatnot. But again, went to Everton, absolutely disastrous time there.
He keeps getting chances for places, but it just doesn't work.
To be fair, Everton is a bit of a poison chalice. No one does well there, so
yeah.
it's not just him. But yeah, he was a great manager.
Yeah, loved him.
Perfect. Would you like to go next?
No, James, I'll let you go.
Okay, all right. I'm going to do a bit of a heartfelt one, really. He wasn't a manager in the Premier League for very long. He loved reading poems, and his name is Nigel Adkins.
What a legend!
He got us promoted from League One to the Championship, and then straight from the Championship to the Premier League. And then, Claudio may well say the man that replaced him, but at that time there was no reason for Nigel Adkins to be sacked. It was 6 months into the season. We were 4 or 5, 6 points clear of the relegation zone. Playing okay football. I think we drew at Chelsea.
Chelsea 2-2.
And that was one of Luke Shaw's first ever games for Saints. Playing really well. Very open at the back, but it was exciting and fun football. And there was no reason for him to get sacked. Nigel Adkins.
Fair. I remember when that happened, and I was like, "What the hell are we doing?" I was like, "What were we thinking?" But it was a lovely segue into my decision. I probably actually would have gone for Nigel Adkins as well. Again, for a more emotional reason rather than necessarily tactics. Exactly.
Yeah.
But when that all happened, Cortese, the director of football, came out and said we're getting this guy, and this guy was coming in, called Mauricio Pochettino, and it was like, who is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And some pretty whizzes at trivia will go, oh well, he was actually defender in the 2002 World Cup for Argentina. It's like, okay, cool, and he's managed a couple of clubs in South America. Okay, fair enough. And then he came in, and everyone was like, right, everyone loved Adkins. Everyone was furious.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, what are we doing? And then we quickly realised, okay, fair enough, we're playing. The way he's getting us to play is absolutely. The high press was just unbelievable to watch.
Yeah.
It was so intense.
Yeah.
He must have drilled those players in the first few weeks that he came in. The fitness levels went through the roof, didn't they? It was like, how is he getting them playing like this? It was brilliant.
We covered most ground by 20
Oh my goodness me!
Every single game, it was absolutely ridiculous.
He was a fantastic manager. Really, it was very weird at the beginning when he was told by Cortese not to speak English with a broken accent or to miss
Yeah.
words. So he was speaking with a translator for ages, wasn't it? It wasn't like a few weeks or anything. It was like
It's a good season, I think.
it was a season.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember Cortese coming out and said he didn't want to put any pressure on him. He just wanted him to focus on managing the team rather than trying to pick up the language. And now you look at him now, and he speaks amazing English. He obviously speaks great French when he was in Paris, and obviously he knows Latin languages for being from that part of the world.
Yeah.
But he's an amazing manager, and he moved on to bigger and better things. Hasn't won a huge amount as a manager, really, in fairness. But there's no denying he's a great manager. And he was a brilliant manager for us, and he revolutionised how we played as a club when we first came up to the Premier League, which set the foundations for us being a fairly fixed Premier League team. We weren't teetering on the edge like some of the teams are now. Yeah. We came in 14th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 8th. Yeah. I mean, for a club like us, that's
absolutely
dream world, isn't it? Yeah. And he started that.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah.
I think he probably is the most talented manager around, definitely, and that's a fact. But, right, brilliant. Well, that wraps up our 5-a-side teams plus managers.
Yeah.
Can I quickly get everyone to read them out, if you can remember them?
Yeah, sure.
I've got them written down here.
I do.
If you don't.
Yeah, I can remember. Yeah, I can remember. Oh, you got them there. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so in goal I've got Kelvin Davis.
Mm-hmm.
In defence I have Michael Svensson. I've got Morgan Schneidlin in midfield. Matt Letizia doing all the work up front, close to up front, and then Graziano Pella poking in the goals.
Managed by
Pochettino, of course.
Love that.
Perfect.
Cool.
Matt?
Yeah, so cool. So I've got in goal good old Antti Niemi, defence Toby Alderweireld, and then Anders Svensson and Adam Lallana just in front.
Yeah.
And then James Beattie up top with Ronald Koeman drilling him.
That's quite a nice team, actually.
I don't mind that. It's a lot of flair. It's a lot of flair.
Right, well, I've got the poet Nigel Adkins managing the three beasts of Fraser Forster, Virgil van Dijk and Victor Wanyama. And then the flair up top is being provided by Sadio Mane, and the goals are being supplied by Ricky Lambert.
Yeah, nice. We've got 3 decent teams there.
Yeah.
Different teams.
They are, yeah. Absolutely.
Yours is a powerhouse.
Yeah, yours is pure power.
Yeah.
Yours, you've just got Morgan Schneidlin doing running. Everyone else.
Morgan Schneidlin, Svensson will do his knee after 5 minutes. Letizia won't do much. Schneider's the exact same. A mishmash team. Poch will drill him, though.
Poch will drill him.
Yeah,
love that.
He will. Right.
Cool.
On that note, should we get away from Southampton?
Sadly.
Sadly, because I think we could talk about them in the Championship, but not everyone wants to hear about that. I
don't think I want to talk about them too much.
No, me neither.
Iliakes, what a player. Come back.
Right, we're going to go into the Premier League. We're going to start with what was probably billed as the biggest game of the season so far.
Yeah.
And that was Arsenal versus Man City. I watched it. I thought it was one of the most dull games I've seen all season.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
I mean, the thoughts is that it's dull. It's like going back to like 2008, 2009 when do you remember all the big teams used to play and every game was 1-0, 2-1s, like Chelsea, Man U, the ones like that. Drogba scores or Ronaldo scores. And that's what it reminded me of.
I was saying this actually. It felt like a Ferguson versus Mourinho 0-0, and then both teams would happily take away the point.
No, I know.
And if one of them got a goal, fine.
But that's a surprise, right? Because the way those two teams are, the way they're so good at going forward with the ball.
Yeah, I agree.
They're fine at defending. Neither of them are bad at that at all. It's not. But I think this was billed as being a really exciting game that never lived up to expectation. In every part of the game, there was no good bits at all, was there? Really?
No, not at all. About the most interesting things that happened were Raya fanning around at the back.
Yes.
First 15, 20 minutes.
Alvarez almost tackling him and scoring.
He did it a few times.
It was really nerve-wracking watching the whole game. And the Arsenal fans were clearly anxious about it the entire time. My biggest takeaway from the game is that both teams, without one of their star players each, lack massively. I think that Man City, without Rodri, lack. I'm going to say just Rodri mostly. They lack someone that can build the tempo, someone that can control the game. They just had zero control of that game whatsoever. And Arsenal,
Calvin Phillips.
Do you think you can get a game? And for me, Arsenal without Saka looked completely toothless. It was very, very, very clear that Arsenal were playing the ball to where Saka would normally be, and it was then Gabriel Jesus and Saka would normally just cut inside and either have a shot or create like a pass over to Martinelli or Trossard. But without him,
Completely agree.
there was nothing there really.
Yeah, very true.
Completely agree. I thought it was a very dull game. Kovacic, I mean, just should have got sent off. I don't understand how.
It was a funny one, wasn't it?
But it was both. So it's the first one was potentially a red. In my view, I think it was a red. And then, but they gave a yellow. And then about, whatever it was, 60 seconds later, 70 seconds later, I mean, you go in for it, you lunge into that. I mean, there's another game where someone did something similar.
Exactly.
As well. But I mean, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Why? How is that not a second yellow?
Yeah.
I don't know what the justification is.
But it didn't change the result. So like that's good that everyone's not talking about that because otherwise that's the whole thing. But yeah, no, it was just a dumb game. Like to be honest, I mean, it was a lucky goal. I mean, Martinelli came on and actually changed it. I think he looked really good.
He looked good. Agreed.
When he came on, and he's obviously just come back from injury, so hopefully he stays fit. But yeah, Arsenal are top. Well, Arsenal are joint top.
They're second actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they are on goals scored. Yeah.
Claudio, would you say that result matters? Do you think that like it's going to have a big impact on the season?
I think the fact that Man City have now lost 3 games out of the last 4 because they lost to Newcastle in the League Cup.
They did.
They lost to Wolves. They won they went behind in the Champions League, but they came back to win.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to know that they're human.
Yeah.
For a lot of us, and the fact is, we don't want a team to just run away with it.
Agreed.
You know, we want it to be an exciting league as far into it as we can get.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's not just, you know, a large part of last season, it was just Arsenal. Arsenal was the one team with them. Arsenal was the team to beat, and then they overtook them.
Yeah.
This year, there are a few other ones that are kind of milling around there that could still spoil the party.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is great.
Agreed.
For someone of, you know, neutrals watching
Yeah,
Premier League
yeah,
football,
absolutely,
really,
yeah.
it's really great. So,
I agree.
does it matter? I still think City will win the league.
Mm-hmm.
I still think their firepower, the depth of their squad is superior to everyone else. Even the fact, especially now that they're actually out of the League Cup, it's one less.
Yeah.
It's one, even though they win it every blooming year, it's one less thing they have to think about.
Yeah.
So I still think they'll win it, but it was good for now. For now.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I completely agree with that. But I mean, Saliba and Gabriel looked unreal against Haaland. Like, there was one thing where Haaland was kind of running through him and just Saliba just completely knocks him to the ground.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen very often, which is always nice. Bring him down.
Bring him down.
Bring him down. Yeah, exactly.
It's a couple of games he's not scored now.
I know.
It's unheard
I think he
of.
scored 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 or something.
Wow.
Shit.
Honestly. Poor man's Ricky Lambert.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think.
I think that's
Right, so we said that. So Arsenal, well, more or less joint top. They're second. To Tottenham. Tottenham have gone
Spurs.
top of the league into the into the international break. They've gone top.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
No one.
No.
Yeah.
Can't say. I remember the beginning of the season when Kane did move, and I was like, what? I was curious to see how this would affect Spurs because, you know, when you have a player like Harry Kane playing for you, you have to make him the crux of absolutely everything for your team. But, you know, they've had lots of defensive-minded managers for a long period of time. So it's so refreshing for someone who's very kind of flippant and matter-of-fact. Classic Australian, isn't he, really?
So
he says calls everyone mate, which I think is, you know,
he's
brilliant.
perfect. Like he's
great.
so funny. For now, you want to see when the wheels come off really and see that and see it all.
Well, it's Spurs.
When,
It's gonna happen.
exactly.
Of course.
But when like kind of that, like when the chips are down, like how still friendly and stuff he is. Like I think it's, but he's so funny at the moment.
Yeah.
And just in every press conference, he's just a laugh.
Yeah.
And he just sat there smiling. Like, to be fair, they shouldn't have won this game. I don't think Luton.
They came into it when Basuma got sent off. So Basuma got sent off for a second yellow for diving,
Which was
That was
so absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely
And then Luton had some chances. Had it been against any other team, then Tottenham would not be sitting top of the league right now.
But I mean,
as we
they've
discussed
ridden
before,
their luck this year, Tottenham. Like
They have.
Sheffield United, the 2-1 kind of, they scored the 97th and like 101st minute.
Yeah.
And then even Arsenal, they kind of like rode their luck in that moments. And then
and Liverpool.
Liverpool, of course.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, but I mean,
I think
got to
that I would say even more so than Arsenal relying on Saka and Man City relying on Rodri. I think that Spurs without Maddison is a different ball game completely. I don't think they'll have the creativity at all.
No,
and the same balance.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
He was a great
Yeah.
40 mil as well.
Uh-huh.
Like you look at that in the market now, that seems absolute steal. He seems a brilliant player. I know it obviously depends on how long you've got left of contracts and stuff, but I mean, still, I think what a great pickup, and he's been brilliant.
Signing of the summer by a mile now.
I'd say so.
Well, not by a mile, but like definitely signing of the summer so far.
He's up there.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Perfect. Well, should we move on to Brighton versus Liverpool? Good game. Well, basically, the 4 goals were all from mistakes, really.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was a good, exciting exciting game.
The
Both teams
first goal was
going at it.
Alisson's mistake, wasn't it?
No, it was
Van
Van Dijk passed the ball to McAllister.
And then Alisson was
I don't think Van Dijk gave him a call at all.
Yeah.
McAllister didn't know there was anyone behind him, so it was really Van Dijk's fault, really. And even again, I don't think Alisson was necessarily best positioned.
No, but it was still, it just looked a bit strange, didn't it?
It did.
Funny.
But it was quite, both teams played on, both teams played on Thursday, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
So Thursday, Sunday. And I still thought it was a really good, exciting game to watch, despite the fact that, the mistakes that caused the goals.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think that these games can be a bit of a hangover from the European games. They're a bit slow, not much happens, or it takes a while to get going, or a bit cagey, and it wasn't that at all. It was nice and open.
Yeah.
Well, it's the way both of them play, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brighton are going to concede loads, and Liverpool are going to concede loads, but hopefully score as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, the funniest thing is that Liverpool, every game, are such a moments team. They'll play poorly for like 40 minutes, and then Salah will score 2 goals in 5 minutes, or someone will score 2 goals. Like Newcastle, for example, as well.
Yeah.
There's loads of different examples this year where, particularly where they've gone 1-0 down, because they are so shit at the start. Like, so shit. Every game, they're literally so open. But they get away with it. And I don't understand how it's just not fixed.
Yeah, again, I feel like we're getting the same analysis over and over again.
No, I know.
But Liverpool without Salah, what's Liverpool without Salah?
No, I know, exactly. Yeah,
where do the goals come from?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Nunez.
But Nunez needs
space.
Yeah.
He also needs to be given the ball. Like he's a funny one, isn't he? Because like sometimes you look at chances that he misses, you're like, how did he miss that? But then he puts away all these absolutely brilliant, like over his head volleys and touches.
His movement's really good.
I
really like Darwin Núñez.
He does have a lot of raw talent. So I mean, he's a very good player. I think the thing for Liverpool is, at the beginning of the season was their midfield, the middle 3 that they always seem to play. It was like, what are they going to do there this season?
Yeah.
Like, McAllister's dropping really deep.
Yeah.
They have picked up a couple of good players like Gravenberch and Endo, who are much more defensively minded. And then I was thinking, well, which of the 3 do they put up front? They've got Gakpo, they've got Jota, they've got Nunez, Diaz, Salah. I mean, God,
it's a weird choice.
How do you pick 3 of them every
really
week? Salah obviously is a nailed on, but the other 4 obviously depends on the team you're playing and whatnot. It's nice to have choices. But
I think that given all of the turnover in Liverpool over the summer, I think all of their fans would have bitten your hand off to be 3 points off the lead at this point of the stage, at this point in the season.
3 points off the lead.
3 points off the lead. So the top 4 is Tottenham and Arsenal on 20, Man City on 18, Liverpool on 17.
Jesus.
And behind them you've got Aston Villa and Brighton on 16. So it's all quite close.
No, it's brilliant. It's
good. It's exciting.
It's a really exciting season, I would say.
Someone that's nowhere near the question is Man United. I suppose we just go a quick conversation that they beat Scotty McSauce.
Scotty McSauce.
That's
Scotty McSauce. That's what he's called. That's literally what. Like I can't remember, but it's like one of the Man United fan TV.
Right. Okay.
They were called Scotty McSauce. So yeah, what a player. I mean, this is what he does for Scotland. He's the top goal scorer in the Euros qualifiers.
No way.
Yeah, he's above Haaland. He's above everyone. He's the top goal scorer, but he plays so much higher up for Scotland.
Right.
What I quickly want to talk about with Man United is but so the trusting. Well, again, I'm saying trust the process, like Arteta ball, but with Ten Hag, and he's clearly got this plan, but it doesn't seem to be manufacturing it anyway. Man United won this game on Saturday because McTominay, who they tried to sell in the summer, scored a goal, and then the best thing, the winner, was scored by McTominay, assisted by Maguire, who were 2 players that they both wanted to get rid of this summer, and they couldn't get rid of them. So, what is going on there? I don't think you can call this win a turning point or a renaissance, because it's not part of the plan at all. It's just pure vibes.
Yeah. And they looked like they could concede every single minute of the game. Like it was so painful to watch. And just looking now, Marcus Rashford came off. They needed a goal and they decided to take him off. It's like I know he's not playing well and everything, but they are a strange team.
They are, and the one player I think that was really, I've been shocked at how almost lazy he has been in most games is Casemiro. He was. Everyone was like, oh, he's leaving Madrid. He's past his best. How's he ever going to replicate that at Man U? And he started a bit slowly, but then he was absolutely class.
100%.
Second half of last
so
season,
many games.
Last
Beginning of the season, some people were saying he looked really unfit at the beginning of the season, like overweight. I mean, he's probably had to get down into the drills to lose some weight. Yeah. But he just doesn't look the same player this season. In the Premier League, he scored. I think did he score a couple of goals in the Champions League? So maybe fair enough, he's doing that there. But he was giving the ball away, and he's just sloppy. And he's one of those players that you look at and go, right, he's going to be if he's on his A game, that brings everyone else up, and he's nowhere near it at the moment. So everyone else is kind of.
I feel like the atmosphere at Man United is just really low, and they've had a lot of off the field problems. And on top of that, like Ten Hag doesn't really seem like a inspiring manager. He's a
whiner,
disciplinarian,
quite pragmatic. Yeah, I agree. They need someone with a bit of emotion maybe to get them going.
Yeah,
so they do have a lot of injuries at the back. I mean, like you're starting Maguire and Johnny Evans as centre back, and then Lindelof as right back, and Dalot as a left back. Like that is not that's not even a Premier League back four. I don't think. If I'm being brutally honest, like maybe Luton. What? Maguire, Evans, Lindelof, and Dalot as a back four.
Where was Lindelof? Was he left back?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like yes, it is just, but I mean, that's not a top 10, top 15 really. I'd say that's a Wolves back. Back four. If I'm being brutally honest.
Should we move on to Wolves?
Big time.
So we're talking about Wolves versus Villa. Matt loves Villa and he loves Wolves.
Love Villa and I love Wolves. I mean, Villa should have won this game. Watkins should have had a penalty at the end, which just wasn't given. It was a blatant push. I think that was a bit harsh. It went to like 101st, 102nd minute again, this one, which is quite interesting to be honest. But weird stat was Wolves. Villa haven't beaten Wolves in the Premier League since I think it was December 2020, and then before that it was 2018, 2017. So it's a long kind of run. Obviously, it's like a Midlands derby, and it's just since Emery's been there, he's lost to Wolves every single game. So it's but everyone's kind of got a bogey team.
I think we said this last week. I think personally that Villa have the squad to challenge for top four if they weren't in Europe.
I agree.
Yeah. I think when they're in Europe, particularly the Thursday night games,
they're going to be stretched.
They'll be stretched and they might struggle a bit, and this might be another hangover from that. I mean.
I think so as well. I mean, Pau Torres scored his first Prem.
Yeah,
which is good. Signing of the summer. So
he's done such an amazing job though. When you think about Unai Emery, where they were last season when he took over from Dean Smith, I think it was.
Steven Gerrard.
Oh, Gerrard, of course. Yeah, absolutely. They're a mess.
Yeah,
and he so quickly turned them around. They got to Europe. Unbelievable last season. And it's going to be difficult to replicate that, but they started really well.
Yeah,
and the fact they said they're fifth or sixth.
They are. Yeah, they're fifth, and they're
16 points.
Yeah, fifth, 16 points. Yeah. 4 points off the lead, 1 point behind top four.
Yeah, fair play to them. Yeah. They're a good team. They've got a good setup. They've got a good structure. And you look at the way their midfielders like Man U.
Yeah.
You look Casemiro not in his game. If any of the players further forward lose the ball, they don't run back.
Yeah.
You then need Casemiro to be on it. And he isn't. They're a mess. Yeah. When Aston Villa lose the ball, I look at their structure in their midfield.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. They're so solid.
Yeah.
And they've got players like John McGinn, who's a bit of like he's a really undervalued player.
Yeah.
Because he can play in the holding positions. He can play out wide. He can whip balls in superbly. And he does. I mean, sure, he gets it looking for Scotland, but I don't think everyone really
rates him.
Talks about him when they're talking about Aston Villa.
Yeah.
They're talking about Moussa Diaby, great player.
Yeah.
Ollie Watkins because he's scoring goals for fun. But I look at players like John McGinn and go, he's the real
glue.
Yeah. I think I said this last week. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the Premier League.
I agree.
Along with Matthias Jensen at Brentford.
Oh, he's brilliant.
I think he's a superb player. No one talks about him enough.
No, they don't. It's true. Very true.
Very, very good player.
Yeah, fair play.
But also, what a job Gary Neville's doing as well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
At Wolves, I mean, I'm not a massive. I don't watch a lot of Wolves, but I mean, he gets results. And like, even under Bournemouth last year, I mean, Bournemouth were an awful squad.
Well, it was funny when he got sacked. Everyone was a bit like, what?
Yeah.
He's kept them up. Why is he getting sacked? It was bizarre.
I think he was a shout for manager of the year last year.
Yeah, exactly.
I really do. I mean, some big things happened last year. I mean, Pep in the treble, but I genuinely think Gary O'Neill, like keeping that Bournemouth team up comfortably, is one of the best.
15th, whatever it was.
They finished on like 40 points or 43 or something. I can't remember. But
and finally, that Korean guy. That Korean guy scored again. That Korean guy.
So actually, a stat that I read today.
Go on.
He is the most clinical player in the Premier League this season. But all players.
Just at conversion.
So it's a conversion
rate
for all.
Korean guy.
For
most clinical.
The most clinical.
Oh, fine, that's right.
the most.
Again,
we are saying that was Pep Guardiola
saying
that, not the On Your Head Son podcast.
Oh, Blue Eyes did say that.
For anyone that's had over 5 shots in the Premier League, he is the one with the highest shot conversion.
Not fair. I could imagine that, to be fair. I mean, he's scored what, 3 goals, 4 goals now?
I think it might be 5.
Is it 5?
Yeah, good. Yeah,
blimey, fair play.
So well done, Hwang Hee-chan.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to fire through the next 5 quickly.
Yeah.
I'm going to shout out the games. You can shout if you've got any comments at all. So, West Ham versus Newcastle.
Good game. I enjoyed watching that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really exciting game.
Yeah.
And again, both teams playing midweek. You think a bit of a hangover, but it was a good. Well, Newcastle were really slow in the first half. They were really slow, but they came out in the second half and wanted to play football, and it opened the game up and it made it. It was a good spectacle. Yeah, it was an exciting game. It was pretty even. I thought. I can't really think. I think the draw was a fair result.
I think so. Bruno should have got sent off.
Agreed.
That's the one.
West Ham
missed Anthony. That's what Newcastle did.
Anthony.
Gordon.
Anthony Gordon.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. He's been brilliant. Yeah.
He has. West Ham seem to be starting games really well, and then they sort of. Again, actually, a stat I read today was that the first half of each game, West Ham would be top of the league.
Wow.
You get silly stats all over the place these days, but that's something I read today. Second half, they sort of fade away a bit, when they did very clearly in this game.
Kudos came on and changed the game.
Scored a good goal.
He looked really good.
Kudos to Kudos, you could say.
You missed that one, man. You missed that one.
You almost set yourself up for it, but said you assisted me.
It's alright, there you go.
You were the Sadio Mane to my Robbie.
I actually thought West Ham were going to really struggle this season. They weren't great in the league last year, and obviously it was great they had their run and won the cup and everything. But I thought, you know what? They're in Europe again. I was like, oh my god, they're going to struggle again. They've been really good this season. I think we can give them a reason why. They've got a decent set piece taker this year, haven't they?
They do.
Number 7.
Who didn't get into
our team?
We didn't even mention
No one mentioned.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know where you put
him.
Actually, I don't.
But he.
Yeah, jeez.
We've missed that. We moved on.
Yeah.
But he's done really well, and he was a bit like you couldn't argue. He was one of the people they just didn't have last season.
Yeah.
You look at who Aaron Cresswell was probably the only kind of person you look at taking free kicks, corners, didn't do much. And now he's popping up everywhere.
I know.
He's like assisting right next to strikers in front of the goal. Fair play.
Players that count. Love it.
They're a good team. They're a good team.
Yeah, they spent the rice money very well.
They did. You're right. Very true.
I think. Cool. Right, next, Burnley versus Chelsea. I actually wrote this point. So the match today, pundits were like screaming about how good Sterling is again. They've done it twice so far this season. Once was against Luton and once against Burnley. My opinion is that Raheem Sterling is a good player. He's in better form this season.
Yeah.
But he looks really, really good against crap teams. And I'm going to compare him to Nathan Redmond. Every single time in the FA Cup, Nathan Redmond scored. And that people will be like, oh, wow, why isn't Redmond playing more often? It's because he looks good against bad defences. And I think Raheem Sterling is like a better version of that.
That's why he's good again. That's why he's good for England.
Yeah.
Because you're playing against Lithuania and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's a fair point.
Yeah. Bar that, I mean, Burnley are still struggling. Obviously got a midweek win against Luton last week, but
they did.
First win, but yeah.
They have had a horrible fixture list to start off with, so I think we'll find out more about them soon. But I don't see.
Luckily, again, there's still those those teams at the bottom who haven't had a good start as well. So I think they kind of got away with it.
It feels like after the start they've had, if they pick up results against all the teams around them, then you could probably say they'll probably stay up.
Yeah.
you're right. It's not been a good start for them against the teams they've played. But in some of the games, they've looked competitive.
Yeah.
Even the first game of the season at points against Man City.
No,
the
I
very
thought they looked
first
good.
game, they looked really good. And what's lovely is that Burnley aren't just hoofing the ball. Like companies playing good football, young players that want to put the ball on the ground, moving it around. Yes, the lack of experience I think is probably killing them a bit.
Yeah.
Will they go down? Oh, I don't know.
You just sounded exactly like every match they pundit talk about Norwich 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, they play it really nice. They try their best. They're not just trying to like hoof it the entire time.
Will they go down?
Yeah, they probably will.
So true. So true. Yeah, very true.
Get up,
Speaking of someone who I just can't see them staying up, Sheffield United played against Fulham. I don't see what they've got.
I don't know what
it was
3-1.
3-1. Oh yes.
Chris Basham suffered a horrible injury. So obviously we send our best wishes to him. But yeah, on the pitch, Sheffield United look awful. I mean, Fulham, who've only scored about 4 or 5 goals all season, scored 3 against them. They scored about 8.
Yeah.
So.
But they were toxic going into the league. Marco Silva nearly left, didn't he? Just before we started. But yeah.
I didn't follow enough of the Championship regularly enough to know what Sheffield United's like way of playing football last season was. But they came second. They didn't kind of like creep into the playoffs. Like a bit of a run. They finished quite clearly second.
But then they lost their 2 best players to Burnley.
Sander Bergen. That's right. That's right.
And they've got a couple were on loan as well.
Yeah, they've got Hamer from Coventry, who I think as a player is good, but one player doesn't make a team.
Well, they're saying that they think Hamer and Archer will probably get a few goals this season, but
it's not going to be enough.
If you're conceding 8 goals a game, then it doesn't really matter, does it?
3 goals against Fulham. You're going to struggle.
Right, moving on to the very exciting Palace versus Forest 0-0. Nothing to say?
Nah, I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Right.
Cool. Everton versus Bournemouth, the last one.
I predicted Everton to win.
Oh yeah, in our game.
Come on,
Matt predicted Everton. I predicted Bournemouth.
Yeah, that's
congratulations.
Did Decore score again?
He did.
Love Decore. He's just their biggest threat by a mile. Bournemouth are still shit, and
Jack Harrison looked good for Everton actually.
Yeah.
Nice finish.
Lovely finish.
He's got a great left foot, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's a good footballer. He just needs to. Yeah, he's obviously had a bit of an injury run recently, but I think that's a good signing for Everton. I have to say.
Yeah. At the moment, I think that Everton are going to stay up, just because I think that there are 4 teams that are worse. That's where I'm getting to now.
You only need 3 teams to be worse.
No, I think there are 4. Yeah, including Bournemouth with the promoted sides.
Yeah.
And I think Wolves are in that same category with Everton actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Because of Gary O'Neill.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought Everton at the beginning of the season would go down. The way they finished last season, the way they scraped up, it was like, oh god, they were playing garbage football. To stay up, I was like,
they still are playing garbage.
I mean, they're getting better. It's a morale boosting win. After they lost at home to Luton and all that. So, I think they'd probably be about 15th, 16th. I think probably
same as always, really.
Yeah, very much so. It's interesting because of the fact they've got this investment that might be coming in, and they've got this amazing new stadium. It's going to be one of the venues for the 2028 Euros, which is officially going to be announced, I think, on Thursday. For the UK and Ireland. Yeah. So they've got all this, and can you imagine a team like that playing in the Championship? It could financially completely ruin them.
No, they're not far off that at the
moment. No, I know, it's true. Yeah, it's very true. So they've
just been bought out by a massive American lending bank,
777, who ruined a baseball team a few years ago. I don't know who it was, but that's their history. So
brilliant.
But I'm not sure how much the what's it going to do? What's it called? The fair play test for owners.
Financial fair play.
Well, no. The fit and proper. Fit and proper. Yeah. So I can't imagine that never getting it. But
yeah. Perfect. Well, on that nice cheery note, that's the end of the Premier League.
Go on, Everton.
For the week. And unfortunately, there is no Prem next week. It is International Week. Yawn. Never an exciting watch.
England, Australia.
Oh no! Then the next game's a bit bigger, isn't it? England is Italy.
Oh, it is England versus Italy. That is true.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's qualifying.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and Italy aren't very good.
No, they're not.
They're a team in transition. They lost a lot of their older players, so they are.
Whenever a team's crap, you just call as long as you say you're in a team in transition, it's fine.
It's fine, mate. We won the Euros.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. But right, so next week we're going to do something a little bit different because there's no Prem. We're going to do an international special, and we have decided we're going to do a feature on international rants. So rants, things that we don't like about international football, the setup, the breaks, everything. So if you have anything you want us to talk about, please do let us know. Otherwise, we'll come in with our own agendas next week, and that should be a good bit of fun.
Should be it.
Any closing remarks?
Love international football. Can't wait.
Perfect.
Can't wait. That's what I'm going to say. No, Southampton. Up the Saints.
Come on, the
Up
Saints.
We're coming back. We're coming back.
And how about you, Claudio? How was your experience
Yeah.
on the podcast?
It's been great. I've loved it.
Yeah.
It's been really good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for
Anytime.
coming on.
Well, welcome anytime.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, I guess that leaves one more thing to say, and that's to remember that it's on your head, son.
Not off your head.
Son.
Yeah.